Today's briefing covers an escalating energy war in the Middle East, fracturing geopolitical alliances in Europe, and watershed legal milestones for corporate accountability. On March 30, 2026, these sectors are converging, creating simultaneous pressures on energy markets, military alliances, and corporate liability. The United States has issued a direct ultimatum to Iran. President Trump is threatening to obliterate civilian energy infrastructure and key oil export hubs, specifically including Carr Island, if a ceasefire is not reached shortly. This escalation is straining traditional NATO alliances. Spain has formally closed its airspace to U.S. military aircraft involved in the Middle East conflict, directly restricting operations out of joint facilities like Naval Base Rota. This map highlights the bottleneck at the Strait of Hormuz, causing severe fuel shortages across Southeast Asia. With Brent crude prices surging, Australia is enacting an emergency response, halving their fuel tax by 26.3 cents to shield consumers. If the Strait of Hormuz remains contested and prices continue to spike, the global economy faces an imminent, severe supply shock recession. U.S. foreign policy is making unconventional pivots. The administration has permitted a sanctioned Russian tanker to bypass the blockade and deliver relief supplies directly to Havana, Cuba. In Europe, diplomatic channels are tightening. Russia has expelled a UK diplomat, giving them 2 weeks to exit following an FSB investigation into espionage and visa falsification charges. In Asia, the military grip in Myanmar is formalizing. Junta chief Min Aung Hlaing has initiated the presidential election process, moving to consolidate his position as head of state. Concurrently in Nepal, the arrest of former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has triggered consecutive days of widespread Gen Z protests against the new government. While the U.S. focuses resources on the Middle East, regional powers use the fractured geopolitical landscape to consolidate control and suppress domestic dissent. In the technology sector, a jury has found Meta and Google liable in a high-profile social media addiction trial. This defeat establishes a sweeping legal precedent. It forces immediate structural shifts to the algorithms and operational models driving platforms like Instagram and YouTube. Corporate leadership is facing similarly unforgiving scrutiny. Air Canada CEO has abruptly retired following intense public backlash over releasing an English-only condolence message after a fatal LaGuardia crash. Amid these institutional recalibrations, NASA is preparing for the Artemis II launch. Astronaut Christina Koch and her crew will execute a historic 10-day lunar flyby. Public and legal demands for corporate accountability are tightening, running parallel to these significant human spaceflight milestones. Today's indicators, a global energy crisis, fracturing military alliances, and strict new tech liability standards, represent compounding threats. These are not isolated events. The convergence of energy scarcity and legal liability is redefining the standards for both regional stability and institutional behavior. Assess your strategic planning and operational security. Determine whether the energy shock, geopolitical fracturing, or new tech liabilities will most directly disrupt your organization.